Hello everybody, Rain Dragon here, and we're back with another episode of Mini Healer. There's a few things that I want to start off bringing to your attention that I found out the other day, which I wish I'd have known in the first place. If you go to Settings, on the main General tab as you scroll down, you'll actually find a section here called Display Additional Artifact Information. And it says underneath, this will show the total quality as well as the tier of attributes on them. Now you wouldn't think that would be important, but actually it's very important. So let me show you what this does. If I click a helmet here, you'll see that this is an item level of 26 and has a quality of 6. Now that means that must have been a quality of 1 to start with, because we've added 5 stars and therefore made that level 6. Which means that you can get different quality versions of the same item and it rolls better. So as you can see, let's pick another item here. That's a quality of 7, that's a quality of 14, and an item level of 67. Now it's partly based on the area in which you get them from in the first place, but let me show you how you can improve this. I had this drop when I was playing around with some Chaos bosses. The Stone of Madness. Now as you can see, it increases the boss maximum health by 22%, its damage by 12%, extra physical resists, nemesis resists, elemental resists, but it does give me some party fire resists. But it increases the minimum item level drop quality and the maximum item drop quality. So that means that it naturally increases the quality of the item by 5 when it drops. So I've now got this equipped on my main build, because that means that a lot of these items that we have here, we need to go and re-farm with a higher quality, and that's what we're going to do today to really boost up our damage, because we go and farm this again, and we use this as well, and it'll drop with a quality level of 18. Now, the other interesting thing, and I've always wondered what this is for, but if you go to the Midnight Zones, it doesn't tell you anywhere, but I read online that when you clear these Midnight Zones, not only is it like one continuous train of bosses with an extra chance of loot, but it also increases the quality of items that drop by 2. So that now level 18 that we have drop could now be a level 20, for example. So basically, where we're at in our journey now is to start farming up our gear and replacing our gear with equivalent gear, but of a much higher quality, and therefore giving us much more stats. Now, since I last played, I have been messing around with trying to figure out builds to defeat the last 2 bosses in a courtyard, and I have managed to do this. As you can see, they're both finished here. So I'm going to do those first and show you how I managed that. And then I'm going to show you what that unlocks, and then we're going to do a little bit of farming. Okay, so basically with these guys, and they are pretty straightforward when you read the debuff in-game, all you need to do is just keep on top of the damage and make sure it's not too high, and hit the one with the red buff, because if we read the red buff here, nullify all damage greater than 8% of the caster's maximum life. So if we do more than 8% damage in one hit, it doesn't do any damage at all, and with our decay aura, our slowly steady trickle of damage, it hits the one with the red aura rather than the green one. So I also swap my damage over our auto attack damage when they swap, because our auto attack damage doesn't do a lot because we're not specced into sort of any type of auto attack damage. So you want to always be hitting the one with the red debuff, and basically the rest of the fight is just trying to keep everyone alive with just your hots without spending too much mana, because it's a long fight. And just being sensible, really. Just trying to stay on top of all the damage. Don't let anyone get too injured. I'm not doing a great job here, to be honest, but it's okay. We can manage. We can manage. If anyone does get super low, you've always got that lesser heal, which heals for, you know, a decent amount. I'm not doing a very good job of switching there, am I? Swap over there. Now, my mana's getting a little low, and my concern is I'm going to run out of mana. It's always been a bit sketchy. The bosses are starting to get so that they're a bit more of a challenge now, so things aren't quite as easy as they used to be. Swap over again. Just got to try and keep everyone alive. This is danger zone now. We're running out of mana. Everyone's getting hit fairly hard. There we go. There's the last of our mana. Now it's just spam low-cost shields and try and keep everybody alive. Come on, healer, stay alive. There we go. But obviously you could spend more money on enchanting your gear, and this would be less of a pain. Because if you get more decay damage and so forth, this fight will be much faster for you. Now we're in a bit of a predicament where he's got the green buff on him and we want him to swap to red. Here we go. There we go. Now we can finish him off. And that's it. So that's how I killed those two guys, Thog and Mog. The other one, however, the next boss, I had to change to an entirely different build. There's no builds online until kind of like the late game, which is the area we're now about to go into. So with this, I kind of had to piece some things together from various guides, and what I came up with was a build that people are calling EP, or electronic purification. And the whole idea of this build is you just spam damage in a nutshell, and this is how I beat the bosses, or the last boss. So we're just going to replace this over, put the stone on, but you can see the main parts of this build is electric purification, thunder torrent, and zombification. And you'll be able to find a guide for this in the comments below. It's actually a level 1 to, I think, end game build guide. It shows you piece by piece what you need to do when, what kind of gear you're looking for, etc. I don't like the build. I'm just going to say that outright right now. I do not like it. It's a horrible, horrible build. It goes against everything I like in a game like this. But if you want to check it out, it's there. And you can go and give it a go. So let's just load up this EP build. And I'll show you my skill bar, but basically what it is you use your smite, you use your banish on cooldown, you alternate bubbles between your ranger and your priest, and then the only heal you have is spirit ritual. And the idea of spirit ritual is you use rejuvenate early to get your mana back when you're about spent a third of it, and then you spam this on everybody so that you get mana regen, or the cooldown time on rejuvenate. So sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. It's spam those two buttons, rotate that on priest and ranger, and spam your heals and hope you don't run out of mana. And that's literally how it goes. And that's the only build that I found without kind of restarting and refarming that I could find that would defeat the boss. And I tried about 4 or 5 builds, I would think. So here we go. Let me show you how this works. So here we are on Sid Curse Knight, who basically does nothing except for delete all your curses, and he just does like damage over time and stuff. It's not too bad. So here we go. So we need to wait for the bubble to disappear. There we go. And now we spam banish and smite. Rotate this. Just keep using them on cooldown. Rotate that bubble between the two. Wait for everyone to get low on health. See, now we need to spend mana to get this to work. So what we do is we just start spamming these hots on everybody, and that gets rid of the bubble after we've spent 400 mana. We'll use rejuvenate. I think these stack, so there we go, the bubble's gone. Now we go back to rotating the bubble on each person, the priest and the ranger. Spamming your abilities. Let's get a couple of stacks of this on this guy and one on the tank. Keep spamming. Get that bubble on the priest. Next we'll put it on the ranger. Let's heal the ranger actually. Heal him. Heal him. Put another stack of heal on that guy. And this is basically the whole build. It's just spam and hope your heals can keep everyone alive. And some people will like this. There we go, I'm out of mana now. So some people will like this playstyle. It's not for me. If I'm going to play a healer game, I'd rather be healing than DPSing. I just feel like nowadays, in the world of min-maxing on anything you play, whether it be an RPG or an MMO or anything where there is gear and item levels and random stats, there is always some way, especially for healers, to be doing not just healing but doing the damage as well to make things faster. And I'm against that life, I'm afraid. I'm old-fashioned a bit, and when I play a game to heal, I would rather heal. You know, I would rather that the bosses did more damage and I had to think specifically about how I was going to overcome that amount of damage or deal with that debuff than how am I going to do more damage to kill the guy faster. So yeah, that's where we're at. But we've now cleared that section. So we have opened up the pandemic depths. Now actually, what you have to do is when you finish outer courtyard and inner courtyard, is you have to go to the midnight zone and you have to complete the inner or the midnight outer courtyard or midnight mode to unlock the that one, the pandemic depth. To unlock this one, you have to finish the inner midnight courtyard. Now, I haven't done that yet because to be able to do that, I need to optimize the build that you just saw, because obviously when I get to Sid Curse Knight at the very end, I'm not going to be able to kill him unless I've optimized that build. There is no way for my decay aura to be able to deal with that. Whereas the inner courtyard, all these first original bosses, there was no problem there. Which now leaves me, as I said earlier, at the position of we are now where we have to farm and upgrade our gear slowly to progress, because without progressing, this is it. Now I will show you the pandemic depth. I have no idea how this works yet, but as you can see, this is basically the end of our game. When we clear these two just here, the next is coming soon. So we are nearly at the end of our travels in Mini Healer. Almost. We just need to clear these last two areas and then whatever that unlocks there in the middle. So from going forwards then, what we're trying to do from here is equip the item I showed you earlier, the stone, which I will show again. This one here, the Stone of Madness, is to equip this and farm higher quality level items for our main builds. Now the Stone of Madness you actually get from this guy, Mump, I believe. If you go to the loot tab, you'll see it just there. Now the funny thing is, you need to farm it in Chaos to get it to drop. Then once it's dropped and you equip it, you need to farm it in Chaos to get it to drop again, because then it drops with the higher quality. So I had to farm it twice, and although it says 18% drop chance, it don't drop that often. It took a little while for me to get hold of that. So what I think we're going to do from now on is I will actually just show you the midnight clear to end the video off. But from our next video, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to do some research to find what I think might be a good DPS build outside of Decay Aura. There are two that come to mind. One is Fallen Flames and one is the EP build. The EP is probably the best one. But I will do a bit more research. Okay, with that all said then, let's go and do a run in the Midnight Zone. And I'm going to show you the outer courtyard, which I had to clear. It shows you the items that you have a chance to get for clearing the Midnight Zone. Obviously, they're the Chaos versions. But also, not only do you get a chance to have these items, but you also get the items from every other boss. So one thing that I do need to try and do is equip that stone again. Come and farm here on Chaos constantly, because then that way I get a chance to drop a stone again for the third time with an extra +2 on its already +5 quality, and you can see where this is going to then get that. And then obviously if I then do it with a Chaos, I think it has a chance to drop another 2. So yeah, I have a lot of farming to do of repeatedly the same thing over and over. So anyway, let's just crack in here. Most of these aren't too difficult. Most of them aren't too difficult at all. Once I've got some more Decay Aura damage and stuff, a lot of the future content is going to be quite simple for us. So this is just straightforward. One of these debuffs is really irritating. I can't remember which one it is, but it basically stays on you till you're at half HP, and it takes ages to do any damage to me. There it is, that's the one. But it heals Barney every second. Dispels itself when affected target's health is below 50%, but I just never get there. Right, now we're on to Wump. So this is the guy that you need to go and farm to try... Or Mump, sorry. This is the guy you need to go and farm to try and get hold of that stone. Let's kill the armor guy first. I don't like the armor guy. So Mump's nearly dead. Just throw a couple of heals out quickly. And this is the guy that burns your mana, I think. Yeah, he is. This is the guy that burns your mana. So what I found out, just a heads up, when you get to this guy, what you need to do is try and get some mana, like get halfway on your mana, something like that, because with Midnight, your mana stays at what it was. Oh, damn it, you ate my mana. Your mana stays at what it was, and if you don't spam some mana abilities towards the end of this fight, then you end up going into the next fight with no mana at all. So you'll see my mana stays exactly there. So you want to try and get some mana back before that fight's over. I didn't do a great job, but it was okay. I got some. No magic. Let's pop a heal out very quickly. Upon reaching 20 stacks, reduce healing received by 70%. Doesn't matter, not really. Get rid of the bleeds. Get rid of all the bleeds. I think we just have one more left after this, which is the annoying woman thing. The witch that heals or damages you and you start on low health. Oh no, we've got 2 left, sorry. Oh yeah, possession. Wait, go easy. This one I don't think we gave a damn about, did we? Yeah, that was the one we just left it on the tank the whole time. Not really bothered. I mean, he does gain spell power, but skipping it around, does it disappear? I'm not sure, but it doesn't really matter. Now we've got the witch where we have to keep everybody within a certain threshold. Now the trick to this boss is literally just watch her to put the debuffs on, this one, and see whose health is going down. Right, so that one. And this one, and just leave them there. Just bubble it, let it do its thing. Eventually she'll take a debuff off of somebody and you can spam heal them, but don't heal them too much, because if they reach full health you lose. So there's Nullify, so I can now pop a little heal on there, and that's it. Simple. That is Midnight Zone completed. Now obviously I need to try and do that with a Chaos Crystal to try and get the little orb thing to drop, and we got one of the new items, the Fiery Soul, which is handy because I think I need that for one of the builds. I think. Obviously if I'd have had the orb equipped, because I did unequip it before I started this, a lot of these things would be high quality, so you can add 5 to each of these items would be +5, like that would be a +15 for example, which obviously would then have much better stats on it. So you can see now we're at a point where farming is crucial, and that is what we're going to be doing. Alright, so that's how I got past those last areas, and I hope that you don't hit the same wall I did when I got there, because I was absolutely racking my brains for one afternoon outside of work thinking how on earth I could do it, and eventually I just started throwing some things together, trying some different builds. A couple worked, a couple didn't, but that build that I showed you is definitely the best way to go. And I will post, like I said, a guide to a Steam post that is level 1 to end game, that is literally that from start to finish, that build. And if that's something you want to try, then go ahead and try it out. I'm sure if you started the game again with it, it would be very, very good, because it's an easy guide to follow, it's nice and straightforward, and you'd be powering it up constantly along the way. But yeah, not for me, not for me. So anyway, thank you very much for sticking by and watching the video. I'm trying to get a routine now, so we have a mini healer out on a Wednesday and a Sunday. Thanks very much for watching the video. Please, everyone, stay safe, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.